they're on Mars, which is another video. That's another video for another time if you want to hear my thoughts on that. But yeah, so Mars in itself in astrology is assertiveness. You can probably hear it in me. I have a moon in Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. So I am fiery, I am passionate, I have determination, all about the first house. So the first house in astrology is the aspect of how something plays out in your life. It's your physical awareness, it's your physical presence, it's your personality, it's your energy, it's your independence. All of this, all of those aspirations and your vitality for life come from Mars. All right, so where your Mars is placed in your astrological chart, in what sign it's placed in, which I'll get into in a little bit in this video. I can't go through all of the combinations, but I can give you guys a pretty straightforward understanding, is determining how your passion and your energy plays out in this world. So I like passionate people. I am very interested in only having people that are passionate about something. So that's just off the top of my head, all right? So have you ever met someone that's really like low energy, very tired, always yawning, can't make up their mind, very meh, very apathetic, pathetic people? There's a lot of them out there, a lot of NPCs. I'd have to look at their Mars placements. What you'll often find, just as I'm talking now, I'm being very direct, is that Mars deals in direction. It deals in effort, and it deals in someone or an energy force that wants to come in and get shit done. All right, so Mars is big dick energy. All right, not as big as Jupiter, but it's big. So it's like fire. Think of like the god of war. That is Mars energy. All right, so it's not a wallflower. It's not someone who's confused about what they want. Mars energy playing out in your chart is the force that propels you forward in your life. Say, for example, and I always give this analogy, if you've had a reading with me and I've looked at your Mars and I've talked about where your Mars is placed, one of the quickest ways to get a person to understand what Mars is to explain it like this. Say, for example, there is a boat, and the physical hull of the boat, like the deck or the edges and the sides of the boat, that is your sun sign. That's the outer aspect of your boat. The propeller or the oar or the force that pushes and rotates that thing and spins it around at the back, the blade, that is the Mars that pushes you into this world. Okay, so depending on where that's placed in your chart, what sign it's placed in will determine how it plays out in your chart. So when people ask me to give them general astrological readings, it's obviously, I can give you a quick one if we just look at your sun sign and do light and fluffy, but for us to really assess you and look at who you are and the blueprint of who you are, we need to look at where your Mars is. This is very important. So a lot of people in astrology a lot of astrologers even, will always kind of focus on the big three. So in astrology, when someone says, what's your big three? What they're really talking about is your sun sign, your outer world, okay? Your moon sign, your internal world, your emotions, and then your rising sign, the lens that you see the world through. But for me, I believe that Mars is just as important as those big three, if not almost, pretty fucking important. All right, so it's really key, because where your Mars sits in your chart, how it's placed against your rising sign will be very interesting. It's very interesting because it's going to see how if they're in harmony and they're aspected well together, or if they're not aspected well together, we can have internal conflicts. So people don't know this, and I'm just sharing it. It's like a lot of people's personalities, or a lot of even mental health disorders or mental health problems, like for example, a lot of Mars in your chart, that might actually be why you have ADHD. You know, if you've got tons of Mars and tons of Aries and tons of like Gemini in your chart, well, then you're probably going to be in the ADHD spectrum, like fidgety, jumpy, pushy. You need lots of strenuous exercise to exercise all of this energy. All right, so think of it that way. I hope this is making sense, because I don't want to rabbit on too long and then confuse anyone. All right, so when we look at Mars in itself, this in your life is also going to show us how things are going to unfold for you. That's why, for me, having a Mars placement, which I'll share with you in a minute, where I have my Mars and where I have my rising sign, which sits in Aries, which is ruled by Mars in the first house, is when I meet someone, I need to see energy. I need to see a spark. I need to see a passion or an interest. In this world, it's not enough to just be like a Libra vibe and just be like, I know lots of data, I know everything. Like a Virgo vibe can do that too. I know so much and I just recite information that the teacher told me. That to me is super disinteresting. What I really am interested in is someone that has maybe not a plan about how they're going to go about their goals, or about, exactly the way they're going to go out and do something in the world, but they have a lot of force and determination and passion to push themselves out into the world, make that jump off a cliff into the unknown, into like being a pioneer, and then getting something done. So it's always better sometimes to just start moving and start like going into the action phase than it is kind of sitting in like a very internal way, someone with a very low Mars, low testosterone. Okay, I know that sounds hard to hear, but testosterone, Mars is masculine, Venus is feminine. So Mars is the counterpoint to Venus. Okay, so we're talking about the dick. And a lot of astrologers will even reference Mars to the phallus or the cock. All right, so this is like a big, thick dick that needs to fuck. All right, it's not shy, it's not trepidous. That's the passion of Mars. All right, so it's masculine. All right, it's here to fuck and procreate. That's what fucking ultimately is for, not just fun. All right, it wants to get shit done. All right, so that's really where it is. So Mars is also about defending yourself. It's about defending others that won't defend themselves. So it's about being a warrior. It's about being a fighter. And it's about someone that really has a force within them, wherever it's playing out in their chart, that can sometimes be a little bit destructive. Might makes right even when it's wrong. All right, so it's straight, sharp, quick energy. It doesn't want to have a long, drawn-out conversation. Mars energy doesn't want to be bored with the details. It wants to kind of get in there. All right, so it's like the dog in the fight kind of thing. Sometimes this is good. Sometimes we need this. Mars is combative in its nature, and in this world, if you're wallpaper, and you've got like low confidence, and you stutter, and you can't get your work, that is gonna, like, Mars energy will railroad the fuck out of it. All right, so it can be very brutal. It can be very blunt. Mars energy is also like trying to sometimes get the quickest outcome. It doesn't want to wait around. It's not patient. It's not gentle. So there is a darker aspect to Mars that, in general, when it plays out with a human's I was going to say biology, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I've talked about this, but yeah, there are physical combinations and aspects within a human form that are also connected to planetary correlations. Perhaps I'll do a video explaining that at some point. That type of information I probably will do on a Patreon, because it's like, yeah.